order our regular board meeting of July 15th, 2024. And again, we'd like to welcome you to the Buchanan Community Schools Board of Education. Our meetings have been posted in all of our offices, on our websites, and so on. And there's an agenda back there that you can follow along. If you'd like to pick one up, you can pick that up and follow along with us. Our board members do receive the packet for each board meeting ahead of time so that they can review the documents and artifacts that are attached to that to fully be prepared to engage in the oath of their office and to be able to be informed to ask questions and make important comments as needed. Of course, this meeting is the Board of Education. For the purposes of completing the school district's business, is not supposed to be considered and is not considered a public community meeting. We do recognize public comments and welcome those, and there is a special part of that in the agenda for public comments. And with that said, we need to stand and go to our Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic which stands one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right. With that, let's do roll call.
Mr. Carlson.
Here.
Ms. Brackett.
Here.
Ms. Ryder. Here. Ms. Lesh here. Dr. Carlin's absent. Ms. Berry.
Here.
And Dr. Burnett.
Here. Moving on to the adoption of the agenda for tonight. May we have a motion, please?
I make a motion the agenda for the board meeting of July 15, 2024 be adopted as written.
Support.
All right. Roll call.
Mr. Carlson.
Yes.
Ms. Brackett.
Yes.
Ms. Ryder.
Yes.
Ms. Lesh, yes. Ms. Berry.
Yes.
And Dr. Burnett.
Yes. Excuse me. Okay, moving on to recognition of visitors. Again, we welcome you all to our board meeting tonight. Any other things to add, Ms. Robinson?
I ditto.
Ditto? All right. Very good. Moving on to points of pride. I think that's you, Kelly, right?
Yeah, we just get to highlight everything that's happening this summer. I'm just kind of off a little bit. School is out. We know that our team is working diligently to get our buildings clean and scrubbed. Thank you to Mark, and our business team is working hard as well. So we have all of that going on this summer. So that's pretty much it. And then also you'll see a lot of videos that are coming out too, highlighting some of the I Heart pictures and posters that we did in collaboration with the library, and then also some of the new videos that are being posted that highlighted some of the things that went on this school year. So we're going to be posting those throughout the summer and the upcoming school year too.
All right. Moving on to presentations. And we have a Spanish trip to Puerto Rico, right?
Mm-hmm.
Sí.
Sí? Muy bien. Yeah, muy bien. ¿Cómo estás, eh?
Yeah.
Muy bien. ¿Y tú?
Good evening, beloved school board. So one of our travelers, Cam Carlson, is going to talk for a few minutes and just reflect on some of her experiences, and then I'm going to share some other student and parent feedback and thoughts for the future.
Okay. Hi.
Yeah.
It should,
Phil.
Mr. Place may be working, getting our slides.
There he goes.
Yep. See.
In the meantime, can you start in Espanol?
Can you see it on your screens?
So it's on the live stream, but it's not
There we
behind
go.
us, which
Oh,
I
here it
think he's
comes.
working on.
There
Yep.
we go.
It's there now, Phil.
So, for our, like, I have 2 slides, so, like, our first 3 days are on my first slide, and then our second, like, couple days were on my second slide, but, the title of this slide was Shoes Were Left Behind because we got to go hiking, and Mr. Munyon admitted halfway up the hike that he had never done this before. So when we asked him, oh, is this going to be an easy hike, the answer was yes, and he didn't. He had never taken this hike before. My shoes were white at the start of the trip, and by the end of the hike, they were dirt brown. It was in the rainforest. It rained on us the whole time. We couldn't tell if the water on our arms were sweat or rain. We were soaked. Our shoes were soaked. The hiking people had such a kick out of it. They started mocking us because we were slipping and sliding. So the first picture, I'm the one in the middle that's like this, trying to just not slide down the mountain.
Oh, geez.
That was on the way down after it had rained the entire hike. Everything was slippery, and we were holding onto a rope for dear life. My group of friends I hung out with were up at the top. Those were also my roommates. That is right when we got there. We got to go visit a Spanish fort and walk around. So that's like the view we had with the beach off the fort. And we got to like go into the dungeons, and in the dungeons there were paintings and stuff, and it was so like incredible to see. And the bottom picture, my dad heard a lot about this, but the entire time we were there, we ate chicken beans and rice. That is what we had,
That's the
chicken
mainstay.
beans and
It's
rice.
the good stuff.
We had all different types of chicken beans and rice, every variety you could ever want, and chicken beans and rice.
El
Chickens
pollo.
look hardy. They don't look little.
And the little like brown thing kind of up at the top, that's tostones, right? And it's like a deep fried plantain, I believe,
Yeah.
which is a mix between like a banana and a potato.
Okay. Yeah.
And you like, I made it like a sandwich, and it was delicious. The slide hasn't changed up there, but
Oh, you got the remote.
I got the
There's
remote.
There you go.
woo! So the top picture there is before our hike like got intense. That was just on the way up the hill. We were like, this is gonna be easy. And then you saw the aftermath. Right. The picture below that is Lily Wagner and McKenna Chatterton. And if there was a world record set for naps, Lily holds it. Lily took a nap every single time we got on the bus. It didn't matter if we were going an hour, it didn't matter if we were going 5 minutes. Lily found a way to fall asleep. Next to that, we got to go swim in a bioluminescent bay, which was by far like my favorite part of the trip. So if you moved in the water, it lit up blue like that. So we got to go out there. We got to swim underneath the boat and see it, and it was just incredible to see. Above that, you can, right next to our hiking picture, that is right after we learned how to salsa. So if anybody wants to learn how to salsa, I am offering salsa lessons to the school board only. School board only promo. And next to that is on our way to the airport, we stopped at like a big entertainment center, and there was an arcade, and we sucked at arcade games. We could not win anything. And then we found a rubber duck machine, and you got to play until you won. So we got rubber ducks, and we had enough points left over that we were able to give our tour guide and our security man a rubber duck. So that's our picture with them after we won them rubber ducks. Right. And then next to that is also our last day, where you can see that we're all very dearly sunburnt. Jaden got sun poisoned. Lily did too. We're all so tired. We're sitting there, and I had just taken a nap on the table because I was so tired. And then somebody was like, "Oh, picture," and Ariana was like tapping me, like, "You got to get up." So. Yeah, it was just an amazing experience, and I was so glad that I got to go and hang out with the people I did.
Isn't the water thing like a rarity, right? Like
Yes, it's caused by algae.
algae. Okay. Yeah, I just read about that. Very cool.
She's more than happy to answer all your questions tonight.
Which hill were you going up there? Which hill was that you guys were trying to go up there, or walking up?
In the rainforest.
In the rainforest?
El Yunque.
Erluge? Where exactly is Erluge?
It was,
It's kind of central in the island in the mountainous region.
Okay.
There is the main national park,
Yep.
and all the trails are paved and all that. But there's also private property that still is within the rainforest.
Okay.
Kind of like there's private residents at Warren Dunes, you know. So we actually went through well, I was according to the company that does tours on this private property, because then you get some more adventure elements thrown in. The kids get to swim under the waterfalls and things like that. And the national park, it's like one of the top destination
Yes.
spots on the island.
I
And so
heard
there's lots of times where it's super, super busy. And so this was just us. So,
Oh,
wow.
but that did make the trails, especially after the rain, a little more eventful.
when he says adventurous, he means we climbed up a 10-foot rock, and the people were just staring at us laughing.
They're like, look at these Americans. No.
They were
Look at
too busy
these
laughing at me.
Mainlands.
Well, it sounds really nice, because last time I was in Puerto Rico, it was after the hurricane. We went on a trauma response, so everything that you got to see that was really nice and beautiful was devastated when
Yeah.
we went, so.
So was there much interactions with locals?
Yes. So
Okay.
we got to go to a summer camp with like children, and most of them like were taking English classes. Like I take a Spanish class here, so they spoke broken English and we spoke broken Spanish. And when you mix them together, you get little conversations. But we got to go there for like 3 hours and play we essentially had recess with them. So we were playing basketball, volleyball, hula hooping. They got squirt guns and were having the times of their lives squirting all of us with their squirt guns. There was ping pong. We played Uno.
Oh, cool.
It was like so fun, and we got to interact with them, and like they were talking to us, trying to talk to us in English, and we were trying to talk to them in Spanish, and it was just really interesting.
So was there an opportunity for them to teach you and then you to teach them anything?
Not really. It was
No.
more just like casual
play.
interaction, like, oh, can I play with you guys? Like, oh, whose team am I on? Like,
Very cool.
That is cool.
Did you guys get to go to the beaches at all?
yes.
Where'd you get sunburned? That's what I was like, where'd you guys get?
We got to swim actually in the Caribbean, which is where like the bioluminescent was. It was just on like a little part, kind of. It just broke off into like a little like oval, but we got to go swimming in the Caribbean. It was absolutely beautiful.
Neat.
So your biggest takeaway?
That if it doesn't work out, they have a flight school, and I'm going to go to college there.
And don't trust Mr. Money.
Personality.
Just on the hikes.
And I'm now going to turn over to Mr. Money if you guys don't have any more questions.
Thank you.
Good job.
Good job.
Thank you, Ken. All right, so I'm just going to share some student feedback and parent feedback, and then answer any questions that you guys have. Ava Graham said, I do not think I will ever forget my time spent in Puerto Rico and the memories and bonds I've made because of it. This trip showed me a whole new perspective of the world, and I had so much fun with it. Well, I'm also just thinking, we had fish, we had pizza, we had more than just chicken. But they do eat a lot of chicken.
they have fish?
It's
Yes.
not really a big enough island for tons of cattle raising, you know?
Right, so fish for sure. Yeah.
Claire Schulke said, this trip was an unforgettable experience. I learned a lot of new words in Spanish and truly enjoyed getting to speak to others and learn about a new culture. The bond I made with the people on this trip is one I couldn't get anywhere else, and I'm glad I can call them all my friends now. It was worth every penny. McKenna Chatterton said, this trip was really amazing. It's definitely something I'll remember for the rest of my life. Even though I didn't have any super close friends come with me, and so on that, I was nervous for her a little bit at the beginning of the trip because she didn't have any of her core friend group going with her, but she had a great time, and she said, I've made close friends with the people I hung out with. I know future students will absolutely love it. Caitlin Morris said, being able to soak up the Puerto Rican culture made me feel so educated on lives outside of the States, and by the end of the trip, I feel I've learned so much more Spanish than expected. The kids really were immersed in, that was one of the parent issues. One parent said, I wish I could have understood a little bit more of what the guides were saying, but we wanted it to be a student immersion trip. Now that said, pretty much every time that the guide's saying something, he's asking for student translation, he's translating, so nobody was lost, but they definitely got to apply their Spanish in some real world situations.
That's cool too.
Yeah.
Joshua Maelstrom said, if you want the kids in Buchanan to experience something that is completely different than what they are used to, help broaden their perspective on things, make new friends, and have a great time, then keep doing this. A couple of parent perspectives from some of our parent chaperones. Megan said, it was a great trip overall. I feel the communication with Mr. Munyon leading up to the trip was great. I know Ari thoroughly enjoyed herself. And then Jeannie Arbanis, Max's mom, sent me a short novel. I will treasure these memories with Max forever. I loved the mix of nature, arts, language, community service. Personally, I wish there was more of this, and cultural immersion. The opportunity and encouragement for social interaction with peers, the experience to manage oneself without a parent handling everything for you, emphasizing the life skills the kids are learning. Overall thoughts, I felt everything through the school in Vamanos was easy to navigate through. Information was presented in an easy to understand format, and multiple options were given for payment. As an educator and parent, no classroom will ever simulate that kind of hands-on immersion learning.
Yeah.
So I'll save the thank you for my next slide. We're thinking already about plans for future trips. And so what I would like to do personally as my goal is have a trip every 2 to 3 years so that every student has a couple opportunities where they could go. And so you may see a proposal from me hopefully later this school year, looking at June of 2026. We're going to strategize for better fundraising ideas to increase student accessibility. We're going to adjust elements of future trips based on student and parent feedback. One great thing about the company is they're flexible with their itineraries as well. So we ended up at the arcade because we were supposed to visit a local artist who's a world-renowned artist, but he's also, he's very old, and the company said that they've recently had some problems where there's something booked and then he's not home, or so this was our plan B, but it was an amazing plan B. And I would like personally to continue to travel to Puerto Rico because of the safety, the ease of travel, and the ability to experience such a variety of environments in close proximity. Like our guide was saying, he'd recently been in Peru, and all of the excursions were a 4-hour drive one way. Their longest ride was a couple of hours. They, within a couple of days, were swimming in the Atlantic and then in the Caribbean and in the rainforest. We didn't have a ton of time just in bus seats, and I think that's a great aspect of Puerto Rico. I want to thank you as a teacher. It was an honor to be able to take these kids on this trip.
Nice.
There were tons of times on the trip where I was holding back emotions because it's so exciting to see them having these experiences, to see them understanding and speaking Spanish in real-world usage. It was great. It was great. And we should know, the Vamanos staff and our guides mentioned several times how amazing our kids were, and we can all be proud of how they represented themselves, our schools, and our community. It was a good trip. So thank you for supporting us. And any questions for me?
You didn't get a chance to get to Versailles, right?
What's that?
Versailles, the island that's right off the.
No, we didn't do any of the little small islands off there. No.
I have a couple of comments.
Yes.
First of all, thank you for taking our students. Anytime our students can get out of the classroom and fully immersed in different cultures or different elements, fantastic. And in my experience, there's so much interdisciplinary besides Spanish or besides food. You know, there's just so many different elements that they learn, and they grow
This company is
so
great for that, too.
much
They-
in a short time.
You're getting science, you're getting
Yes.
the environmental aspects, and then the culture, the history. There's a ton of learning.
Absolutely.
And Cam mentioned the dungeon, which I thought I was in the BHS boiler room. When I was there. Just kidding.
And even though you were in a mudslide there, you didn't lose anyone.
Yeah.
No, so the other times that we'd been to the rainforest, it was in the Maine National Park, and it is always super busy. And so this was my first time going through this company's plot of land in the rainforest, and it was actually super cool. It's just the trails weren't as established, and so it was just a little bit muddy. It was just like,
You'll be better prepared next time.
Yes.
I told the kids, like, the hike's easy, no problem, and we were like
Yeah.
2/3 up, and I was like, hey, I didn't mean to, but I lied.
So I congratulate you on not losing anyone. In the close-up experience, I've lost 2, but they found their way back right away, so I wasn't too worried. But yeah, thank you for taking our students, and I know that all of our students represented this school and this community to the nth degree. I know our kids.
They were great. They were
They-
absolutely great.
Absolutely.
So, thank
And
you again.
I will say that I always felt with Close-Up, they learned more in a week than a semester of me teaching. You know,
agree with that.
and it's something that they'll always remember. If you ask former students who've gone on these experiences, first thing they mention is something like this, so thank you.
At the community service, a student who had Spanish 2 last year, didn't have any Spanish this previous school year, and so he was coming off of a year hiatus, if you want to call it that, and he came up to me afterwards, he's like, I'm having conversations with these kids. Like, short little, but like, it's really cool to see them actually use it.
Absolutely.
So, thank you again.
I just want to say thank you, Eric, and your passion for Spanish has really, I think, grown our program. So I hear a lot of good things about you, and I heard all about this trip from friends, and so I just want to say thank you. So
Good. I'm
it's
glad, I'm
huge.
glad. I'll keep trying to do the best I can.
Thank you.
And thank you
Thank you.
again, because I know without a teacher, someone leading this,
Yeah.
our kids wouldn't even have this experience. So our teachers you gave up a whole week of your summer and to give our kids this experience. So it takes a lot of energy and time and planning, extra time throughout. So we value that in you, because it wouldn't happen without teachers like you. So thank you
It's my
again.
privilege. Thank you.
Absolutely.
Muy bien, muy bien.
Yeah.
I know he had a great time because I saw pictures that weren't up there.
All right.
I need a chaperone. So
I know.
I got to get my money in.
Need security?
Yeah.
Anyway, anything else for information, reports, and new business to add? Okay. And I don't have any public comment cards, so we'll move past that. Let's have a motion to adopt the consent agenda.
I'll make the motion to adopt the consent agenda for the board meeting of July 15th, 2024, be adopted as written. It includes the minutes from June 10th and June 17th, 2024, the treasuries and expenditure reports, and the, retirement of Dottie Prince, the BMS interventionist who had 6 years of service. It also includes the employment departures of Joshua Wegener, the BMS track coach, Lauren Hendrick, the early childhood special education teacher, Peter Greaves and Krista Greaves, the varsity men's and women's track coach. It also includes the recommendation for hiring Derek Teft for the 7th grade girls basketball coach.
Support.
Is that you, Jeannie? Sorry. Who was
Jenny.
the support,
Jenny.
Jenny?
Okay. All right. Let's go roll call.
Oops, I'm on the wrong page. Stuck. All right. Mr. Carlson?
Yes.
Ms. Brackett?
Yes.
Ms. Ryder?
Yes.
Ms. Lesh, yes. Ms. Berry?
Yes.
And Dr. Burnett?
Yes. Moving on to item K1 BVA course offerings for 2024, 2025.
I move the Buchanan Board of Education approve the courses for the 2024-2025 school year to be offered through the Buchanan Virtual Academy as submitted.
All right. Ms. Robbins is a second.
Yeah, we need
Support.
Okay. Ms. Robinson?
This is a yearly process, and I know BVA did update their course offerings to include some of those requirements like personal finance in there, as well as offering some other electives for our high school and middle school just courses.
All right. Very good. Any other questions?
I would like to say that there are amazing electives offered through BVA, so that's always good to see.
Roll call?
Mr. Carlson?
Yes.
Ms. Brackett?
Yes.
Ms. Ryder?
Yes.
Ms. Lesh, yes. Ms. Berry?
Yes.
And Dr. Burnett?
Yes. I believe that took care of all of that. Is that correct? If I can see right. Very good. Moving on to question or comments from board members.
No. know, summer's flying by.
I do. At some point, I would like to have a informal discussion or something about possibly moving June, July, and August meetings over to the middle school, just for the temperature, and we had a,
Air conditioning?
yes. Absolutely. And I think Phil can make most of it work, staying out of the way, but
Okay.
I actually was thinking next month, but apparently Mrs. Robinson was thinking June.
For next year?
Yeah.
Yes, we can make it next month, though.
He said,
Okay, so we
Well-
can make it next year.
Maybe
Both
next-
and.
Maybe June would be best, so
Yeah,
Phil can
August could be hot too, though. I mean, when school
decide
starts,
on
it
the
could be really
technology
hot.
piece, and
Okay.
Makes sense.
Mrs. Munyon can help with
It's hard to hear.
logistics.
August is gonna be a busy one, because it's back to school night
Oh, yeah,
Right.
yeah,
at both
right.
the high school and the middle school.
So we'll just make it happen next year? Chris? Okay.
And it's warm.
Oh, that's Fair Week, isn't it? No, that's week after Fair Week.
Yeah, right.
So the summer meetings don't tend to be very long. I mean, I know it's hot and humid in here, but for movement and stuff. And then I know they do the activity up till 5:30 at the middle school with Boys and Girls Club and stuff, so.
Well, and like right now, the Spanish students are there, and they're there till 5 as well.
Yeah, so, I mean, I know it's warm, but then we gotta start right back into school and it's even hotter August, September, so anyways, it's hot.
Okay. All right, you bet.
It's worth exploring that.
Yes,
We'll explore. Anyone else?
he can make it work no matter what, that's good.
Very good, he'll make it. All right, just let you all know, reminder, August 6th from 6 to 9, National Night Out Against Crime, so come on down, have fun with us and things. Anything else? All right,
I can think of.
nothing I can think of either. All right, let's call it adjourned until August
19.
19th.